Maria Jose, Maria Camila, Maria, whatever. So my name is Maria Camila, very fast.
Okay.
And when I moved here, I was like, Camila, which is what my brand name is.
Let's see what rolls off my tongue. You put too much pressure on me, I'm going to fuck it up.
You got it.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Humanhood series, brought to you by your hosts, Casey Riley and
Melanie Peralta.
the conversation devoted to humanizing your human experience and making personal development more personal. And today, we are so thrilled to bring you another incredible guest. And what I love about this guest is that it really shows the power of social media,
Yes.
the power of visibility, and just what you can build and the people who you can meet along the way by showing up fully, not only online, but just in life. And so sitting down with us today, we have Mrs. Maria Camila Cardozo.
You got it.
Yes, here with us. She is a brand strategist. She is a photographer, a videographer, but she really is a woman of visibility. And we are just so excited to sit down with you, learn more about your journey into this space, and most importantly, learn from you as well. So welcome, Camila, to Humanhood.
Hey! I'm so excited to be here. I'm warming up into the experience. And clients, whenever the camera is on, I know they get a little shook. And I'm like, I know how that feels like. I feel a little shook, but we're warming up into it.
I love it when we get guests who are usually behind the camera, and then this is your opportunity to be in front of the camera. But I feel like you have done a really good job of sharing who you are. Like, we recently had Alex Cathedral, and him being on our podcast was one of the first times that he had really shared himself and his personal story. But it seems like you've already started to do that.
Yeah. I think I just have such a, like, I don't like entertaining performance anxiety or performance in general, that I'm like, I'm just going to go with, like, what I feel right now. And sometimes that's just honesty.
Yeah.
And I became known for visibility because I was like, oh, the key to all of this is giving visibility to the honesty of what I'm experiencing. Ooh. And that's sustainable. I can do that. But when I go into performer mode, that's not sustainable, and that starts cracking me up. And I think especially if you come from the corporate world, or like me, so a little bit of my background is I was born in Colombia. When I was 8 years old, my family moved to the U.S., and I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is a very beautiful mountain town that's very, obviously, LDS, Mormon, and it's also very white, just because that's what the history has been there. And unintentionally, there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for me to own where I came from. So all of that made it where these very vibrant parts of my personality just kind of stayed hidden, because the environment didn't really ask me to nurture that part of me. So when I started my business, in entrepreneurship, I'm sure you guys know, you have to be authentic. Like the performer, people don't care about your accolades, about whatever else you accomplish. If there's no resonance, there's no authenticity, like good luck making this thing go.
Especially these days.
Yes.
Yeah. And how people are just tired of the fakeness and performance. So to me, I realized if I really want to stick this through, I gotta open up and give visibility to these parts of myself that I keep hidden. And sometimes it's the little anxious version of me. Sometimes I just want to tell her, shh, go away. And I'm like, no, like she's going to sit with us in the room too. And same with my smart self. She's here too. But I just had to welcome all of my parts. So
I love that you share that, because I can run anxious as well. I am not an anxious person. I can run anxious on occasion. And whenever I try to shove it down, even in situations like this, I start like tweaking out. Like, honestly, it's so awkward. And so now what I've learned is just to speak to it. Like, hey, I'm feeling really anxious today, but I'm going to sit down here. We're going to do this. I might lean on you a little bit more while I like sit here, but I'm not hiding it. I'm not pressurizing it back into my body. Let's be with it. And so thank you for sharing that, because I'm like, so many people struggle with that. And it's just nice to know, like, you welcome her in. as well.
Yeah, like she's a part of me. And you know what? She has a lot of nuggets of wisdom. Like because she's so anxious, she has to really observe the world. Could be a trauma response. But, there's some gifts to this of just like learning how to get through the world. And she gives me a lot of wisdom, which helps me serve clients. Because so a little bit of my brand is I love serving mission-led entrepreneurs, and which all that means is people that really give a lot of fucks, that they're not there's some people that build businesses and it's all very transactional, and like more power to you. Although in my line of work, people are very vested. They really care about serving their people deeply, from personal brands down to people that do cancer research. Like so many industries of people that even if they don't identify as conscious entrepreneurs, they just really care a lot.
Yeah.
And I realized that caring so much, sometimes it just feels nerve-wracking, or you feel like being in the spotlight is not for you, or you want to humble yourself so much that it's about the work, it's not about you. And I love serving those people because there's so much depth, there's so much specificity and power. And so that's why I really like to honor the little anxious being in me, because she understands those people.
Yeah.
She knows how to serve them deeply. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So a while back, I stumbled upon this faith-based trauma-informed care training. I don't even know what I was going to. It ended up being amazing. But one of the things that they really talked about a lot is we talk about, the younger version of ourselves and the trauma that we went through. And then when we get older and we deal with that trauma, a lot of people refer to it as PTSD. But what we don't talk about enough, everybody talks about PTSD a lot, but not enough people talk about what's called PTSR.
Tell us more.
Both of your guys' head was like, ooh.
What's PR?
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress resilience. The R stands for resilience. And so the resilience aspect is the wisdom, the lessons, the teachings, the tools, the resilience. Okay, I went through this and now I have the resilience of this experience to apply here, 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 here. And now it's a part of my qualities and characteristics. And honestly, ever since learning that concept, I really do look at trauma, the trauma response, even more as a choice than not everything, because some stuff is really just so deep rooted on like a cellular, nervous system level. But mentally, you can look at it as PTSD or you can look at it as PTSR, because I have a lot of trauma in my life and I could look at it as PTSD from some of the things that I've experienced, but I don't carry that and I use it as well. So I'm glad that you spoke to that, because I think a lot of people listening, they have their little inner child self that has a quality that they would maybe deem disempowering, but that little version of you, that quote unquote disempowering aspect or quality or characteristic, can actually serve you, just like the way that you said.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. It definitely, it's like the reframe that we give to that I get that we all go through stuff, and maybe we were victims of something at some point, but eventually in our growth is so important to just look at whatever happened as a gift. And it's totally fine if you're still in an achy moment of whatever thing in life.
Totally.
But I do love how there is an ending that isn't like, oh, I have whatever diagnosis. It's to reframe it to how it's a gift for you. So yeah, I love that reflection.
Well, why don't we dive in a little bit more into your story and journey into visibility? Because as you mentioned, you were born and raised in Colombia, and then you moved here. And I've listened to some of your podcasts and I've read a lot of your posts, and I know that this big expressive person who's so confident and visible now was not always that way.
No, ma'am.
And so I would love to hear just a little bit more of like the Camila before who you see now, and what that journey was like stepping into your fullness in this space.
Yeah, I love this story. little background. So I've been shooting photos since I was like 16 just for fun. Like this was never a business venture at all. To me, I was like, oh, I just want like cute photos of my family. It was like that was it. And then when I started college around like 19-ish or so, this was when there wasn't really another social media platform that was big. Instagram was kind of, it's like when you would still get a lot of comments and views. And
Yeah. So people engage.
When you were posting pictures of your lunch.
Yeah.
On your feed.
Like the feed was chronological. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. And my friends and I, we would just like take photos for fun. Like it wasn't anything serious. And I remember I had a friend who he was okay at photography, but like I started teaching him how to like do better, whatever. And we're all just having fun. But what he started doing is that he started taking photos of shoes, of things, and sending these photos over to brands. So he actually saw the vision of it from a marketing perspective. To me, I was like, this is just for fun. Eventually, I'm going to get a job and do all of that. But once I saw that he started getting a lot of traction, I was like, oh, well, if he can do that, then I can do it too. So I started emailing brands myself, and I ended up getting traction literally just from a cold email. I remember a big brand that recognized me that felt like little old me was Free People. And they had like 1 million followers and I had like 2,000. But they started reposting my photos and eventually they hired me for a shoot. And for me to get a taste of just what it would be like for me to show my work, let myself be seen in that way, but like a taste of entrepreneurship, of getting paid for doing what I do for fun, where it doesn't even require effort, like that felt so big and it was such a rush. And so anyway, that was enough of an experience that showed me the power of building a brand, of the work that I was capable of doing. But I didn't have the identity. I know you talk about identity, Casey.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the identity. I didn't value my story. I didn't have any business acumen at all. I also didn't see myself as a business person. I just saw myself as a creative. So lots of mindset, nervous system, all the things. So I wasn't able to sustain it. I still had like my brand built, but as far as like money coming in, it was so hard to sustain. So
How old were you at this time?
I was like maybe 23.
Okay, so you were young. You're shooting these pictures on Instagram and of these brands. You get in contact with Free People.
She shot her shot.
Yeah.
She shot
I
her
literally
shot.
just sent them like a cold email because this girl, I shot an engagement and a girl was like, hey, like this dress is from Free People. Maybe we should tag them. And I was like, we need more than tagging them. So I literally sent on their cold, on like, contact us form. I sent them a Dropbox link of like, hey, this girl got engaged and like she's wearing this dress. And like 2 weeks later happened. And then later on, Free People ended up reposting it. And I remember I woke up to like tons of new followers and comments. And this girl's like, how'd you do it? Anyway, so yes, that happened. I was like 23 or so, where I was like, what?
When I was that age, I did something similar with the brand Nasty Gal. Do you guys remember
Oh,
that
yes.
brand?
God, I love Nasty
Yes.
Gal.
So good. So I was obsessed with the founder, Sophia Amoroso.
Love her.
And I was like so knee deep and like wanting to be her and like work for her that I like emailed all of this like feedback for her website. I was like,
You were criticizing Sophia.
it was actually this though. So remember, there was just photos of clothing items. I was like, it would be really cool to have a model like doing a 360, showing their length. Like this woman's 6 foot tall. This is how the jeans lie on someone this tall. And I sent all these ideas. Didn't hear back. I did not shoot or get an opportunity with her, but I still shot my shot.
You did. And
You never know, man.
You
Shoot
never
your
know.
shot.
Absolutely.
But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So, that was a point where I just got a taste of like, these are things too that I remember also because I started like working with they weren't even called influencers at the time. There were bloggers, which were like I don't know if you guys have seen Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So there's just these girls from Utah that built that became influencers, and now they have a show. But like Utah's a place of like the young mom blogger that builds a social media
Empire.
following. Yeah, empire. Like, anyway, that's where I come from. So I started working with some of the bloggers, and so I started getting my name out there to the point that I was like getting recognized in the street. Like, oh my God, are you Camila? I've seen your work here. Are you doing this? And I was like, wow, the power of just, it was such a rush. But anyways, that all those things were happening around 23-ish. And then I just didn't know how to sustain it. So I had to pause entrepreneurship. And then that's when I went and got a 9-to-5 job. But it was really good for me because I needed to take care of my other adult things. But my dream was always I always just want to do this again. Like, I know the power of social media marketing, and like, if I just feel safe and if I just will get coaching and help, I can do this. So from 2016 of having to go back and get a job and like pause, unfortunately.
Purposeful pause.
Yes, thank you. All the way till like 2022, all of those years were me in a cocoon, like getting my adulty life together, like saving up money, moving to a new state. I bought a Airbnb property, which is what transitioned me to entrepreneurship. But
she set herself up for success, baby.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work.
I'm glad you shared that because I just was talking about the purposeful pause on my story recently, and I was talking about it in reference to exercise, but there's purposeful pauses in a lot of areas of life. We had a whole episode on that of when like you need to make a pivot and you need to make a choice, and maybe that thing seems like a step back compared to what you're doing, but it serves its purpose and it's there to set you up. And it sounds like you did it right, girl.
Yeah, it's been, it's taken a long time for me to do it right. Tell myself I did it right because I have taken very unconventional routes because I remember the taste of entrepreneurship. And another thing too is that, I mean, maybe it's because I'm new to Arizona or what. I moved here in 2020. It still feels new to me. It's been 5 years. But I was like, what's up with Phoenix? They seem so behind.
Tell me more. Okay, what do you mean?
I know, to me, it felt, because I come from, like, obviously Utah with people that have, like, TV shows now, or, like, they go viral all the time, or they have, like, literally multi-million-dollar brands that are very viral brands that we know today, and they came from Utah. And I remember coming here, and I was like, why do I need to sell people on, like, building a personal brand? Like, don't you guys just get it? Content opportunities, brand opportunity. Like, what? I remember just feeling like I don't get why people still treat it as optional when I was like, I got so much success in the past, and that's kind of like what weeded me into doing what I do now. So, yeah.
Why Arizona?
So I was working a phone sales job in Utah.
What phone company?
So I was
Who uses phones 5 years ago?
Girl, I was doing phone sales. Wow. Selling credit repair services. It was a job that didn't require a lot of commitment because I'm like, I just need money because I know what my dream is. I just need to make fast money, quick money, and I ended up being really good at that job, surprisingly.
I was gonna say a joke. I was like, that's what stripping's for. You want fast, quick money.
Yeah, there's options.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
She weighed out her options. I think she chose wisely.
Yeah. Also, you talk
Casey's obsessed with strippers, by the way. So any chance she can mention
a stripper joke, I gotta say
she gotta throw it in.
I have respect for strippers. Okay.
Gotcha. You do what you gotta do because at the end of the day, it's green ass money, and it's the same green ass money everybody has access to if you got access to it.
True.
Anyways. Anyway, I just worked this low phone job that I called it my low phone job, but it was actually like a stable job because how I bought a house, set up my 401k, paid off my credit card, saved up money.
It was a big girl job.
Yeah.
Big girl.
And I just didn't value it as much because I'm like, they just take anyone, but not anyone stays because it was like an all commission job. And so, but I remember this was 2020. So in 2020 around March, right before the pandemic really hit hard, I had plans of, I also wanted a trip for work at the time. So I was like, I'm going to go on this trip. I moved in with my parents to save up money because I'm like, I'm going to get my financial goals. I'm going to save up money, and then I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to travel for an indefinite amount of time. And then right before my money runs out, I'll just relocate somewhere else in the U.S. Whatever. Like,
Solid
I was just
plan.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
was
that.
ready to just
She had a mission.
It's a plan.
Girl,
Yeah.
okay.
You know-
What's your sign?
Virgo.
Of course. Of course. I'm like, I do not live like that. I'm such a Pisces.
I love groundedness, but that was my plan. It's interesting because my little plan just existed in my head, but now that I say it out loud, I'm like, yeah, I was kind of structured.
Yeah.
So, and also because I wanted to build safety for myself, because I knew that lack of safety is what kind of is why I didn't have success in entrepreneurship in the beginning. So I was like, I just need safety. I need a cushion. So anyway, COVID happened, and then it wasn't a good time to quit my job, and it wasn't a good time to go on vacation, because you already know.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, shoot. And then also, I was working from home, and another thing is that I was living with my parents, and that was just hellish experience to everybody being on lockdown with my parents and my work, everything. It was just so much that I remember I asked my work very casually, because I knew they had an office in Idaho, Oklahoma, and Phoenix. And we all know what the obvious answer is of where you want to go. Hello.
Yeah.
And so I asked them, like, hey, can I transfer? Like, is that an option? It was a very casual ask. And they were like, yeah. Nice. And within 2 weeks, I moved. Like, I was
Here. Okay.
I was so ready for a change that I knew nobody here. I was like, it's warm. I like that. You know, I like that it's warm in the winters. Let's do it.
Mrs. Shoot Her Shot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you learn anything from Camila today, learn to shoot your shot, baby.
You know what? Thanks for that reflection.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your new nickname.
That's the title of this episode. Mrs. Shoot Your Shot.
Yeah, you just gotta go for it. I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I only have one life. We only get one shot at this thing, and I do not want to live with regrets.
Yeah.
I rather fail and try, and
Did you get that from your parents?
Maybe.
Because they came out here.
Yeah.
They shot that shot with America.
Totally.
That's true.
Totally. You know, I think because I had oh my God, it just felt like such a rush. I think any entrepreneur will relate to this. But there's something about you creating your own, getting paid for being who you are.
Yes.
For the thing that's a joy for you, it still requires effort, but it brings value to the world. Like, that level of alignment is so, oh my God, it's like drugs to me.
We know.
The level of
get it.
freedom.
Yeah.
The level of
We
freedom.
live it with you.
Yeah, you get
yes.
it. And I was like, I got a taste of that early on, that I know there are people that finished college, like, went on with their corporate careers, and I was like, nope, I am married to entrepreneurship. Like, you cannot dangle no corporate carrot in front of me. I'm like, no. And I remember I would talk with a friend about our dreams, and then she would call it, she's like, yeah, there's like dreams, and then there's like there's like your dreams, and then there's like your mogul job. You know, like Harry Potter, the moguls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
moguls or muggles? Hold on, I don't know if that's a
Muggles,
solid
I don't know.
reference. I think that's not a solid reference.
I mean, like the wizards and the non-wizards.
Okay, the wizard and the non-wizard.
Because muggles and moguls are two different things.
I don't even know the
Wizard, non-wizard. That's what we're going with.
Wizard, non-wizard. But I was like, I just didn't relate to the non-wizards.
Totally.
The corporate
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I am too. Look at me. Do you see me right now?
I see you, girl.
I see
To
you.
the non-wizards. I like to. That's fucked up. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. We'll do that after.
So, anyways, that was just so I just perceived it like that. I was like, I just love entrepreneurship too much. I got a taste of this. I just gotta make this happen again in a sustainable way. I know I can do this. And that's what keeps me in this freaking journey that is just, it's so fun and treacherous at times, but.
So how long were you moved out to Phoenix, but you were still with the phone company. So when were you like, okay, I really got to step back into entrepreneurship? And when did that identity start to shift of, I cannot not do this anymore? Like, this is me. I need to embody this identity as this entrepreneur, take this seriously so it can sustain me.
Yeah. So when I moved to Phoenix in 2020, shortly after, also because everything was shut down, it was so hard for me to meet anybody that the only way that I could meet people were like dating apps. So I'm like, you know, I'll talk to anybody. I wasn't even trying to look for a partner. I was like, I just want a human across from me. I'll talk to anybody. I literally do not care. Yeah. I had such little expectations. In the midst of that, I met my ex-boyfriend, Nate, and or
name
Nate
dropper,
whatever.
that's gold.
Yeah, oh, it's fine. I like talk about him all the time.
Oh, great,
He
great.
knows, but he's a great person. And when I met him, he just looked at me and he had a short-term rental that he was making decent money of, that he didn't have to trade his time for money. He was making money in a different way. And he looked at me, he's like, oh, you have good credit. You have and this was like over the course of like a few months, like 6, 7, 8 months. But this was before real estate was what it is now. But he was like, you could buy a short-term rental. You could do what I'm doing. And I remember he would literally play video games as I'm like working 8 hours. And I would look at him because he would come over and like as I worked. And he was making way more money than what I was making. And that expanded my mind to like, oh, there's like other opportunities out there. I wasn't attached yet to bringing the photography thing again. But I did see a short-term rental as an avenue that I was like, oh, there's like other ways of making money. And that was very expansive for me. Seeing how much he trusts in himself. Yes. Like one thing about Nate is that the way he moves, he's so trusting and so risk averse in ways that to me was also very expansive. And he was definitely a pivotal person that just showed me what else was possible outside of the very small reality that I came from living with my parents, working a 9-to-5 job, and yeah.
Shout out to Nate. Yeah. Nate dog.
He was a big turning point in my life.
Beautiful.
So you acquired your first property.
Yes,
and
we
then,
did it together.
Oh, okay. And then when did you transition full-time into photography, brand, videography, all of that?
Yeah, so this was around let's see. I'm going to say once the house was ready to be listed, later on, I won't say the year, but once the house was ready to be listed and ready to go, it was like we spent so much time furnishing it and everything. That's when I was like, okay, this business is set up and ready to go. And I was still unsure what I wanted to do for my own business. I still wanted to create my own thing. I didn't know if I was like, maybe I should be an influencer, or maybe I should talk about Airbnbs, or maybe I should talk about whatever thing. But when I looked at what I had a track record with already, I was like, oh, photography. So might as well do that. And what's interesting is that I actually wasn't even like passionately in love with photography at the time. It was just like the past vehicle that I had traction with. And then I also knew that, and then another thing that kept me going was that I felt like I was at an advantage that I could take photos when Instagram was really big back in the day, but I'm like, okay, photos are still big, but video is really big now. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to learn the skill of the videography.
That was a significant transition. When everything switched to video.
Yeah, and so I was like, I need to learn this skill set. And so it was a very logical decision, also based on just like I still wanted to work for myself, because I remember I got a little taste of what things were like. And so, yeah, it was like, I would say like the start of 2023 is that's when I really then launched my own stuff. And then, but this time around, I was like, I want to get help. I don't want to just go to entrepreneurship guessing on my own. And the interesting thing is that I remember I used to think that getting help in business or like a coach was like for losers. I remember I used to think like, oh, if you can't make it on your own just with your friends, that means you're a loser, and losers are the ones that go get coaching.
Losers don't get coaching.
Losers don't get coaching, actually.
Literally.
Yeah, but I used to think that I was less than. And because my identity was like, I'm less than because I didn't have success. Because all these other people in Utah, they had success and they never talked about coaching. So I guess I'm the loser that... It's weird saying this out loud now because I have such a different perspective on coaching and education.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, I'm not going to go at this alone. And then that's when I got more one-on-one help, and it completely transformed my whole life.
What did it take for you to actually seek out help, and where did that like mindset come from, or that belief that coaching, getting help is for losers? You know, you have to do it on your own. Was that like established within your culture, within your family dynamic, like prideful? Like where did that come from?
Yeah, I love this question. So you know what? I just wasn't surrounded by people that talked about how much they got invested in coaching. Like, I feel like there was so much gatekeeping with people that build these incredible businesses, but they seemed like they collaborated with friends, but there wasn't really a lot of openness when it comes to mentorship. And and I remember even if I did get a little bit of like help or mentorship, it was never any like high ticket one-on-one close connection type of thing. It was like $30 a month manifestation subscription, and you can get your dream, manifest your dream partner and manifest your dream business. And I was like, okay, I guess for $30 a month I can manifest all these things. I didn't understand the one-on-one connection,
right?
But obviously in the manifestation program, they don't tell you go invest high ticket if you want real transformation, because it goes against their business model. But I truly just unconsciously, like, because I had failure in the past, I was like, I guess failures are the ones that go get coaching. And in my genuine or like naive newbie entrepreneur's mind, but I was still committed to my vision. I'm like, even if I'm a loser, I'll make some money.
I'm gonna be a rich loser.
That's funny because I look at coaching, and when I worked for Tony and Dean, we called it the self-education industry. So self-education, aka not going to college, but finding our own ways, our own resources of getting education. So it's interesting that anybody would look at, because I know there's people listening. First of all, I've been talking about this as of lately, that the coaching industry has just been getting a bad rap in general. It really has. And people definitely have their ideas about it, but it exists for a reason, and it absolutely serves a purpose. And when you find the right coach, which it sounds like you did, when you find the right one, it absolutely will be the catalyst for you exponentially. And so I think like people need to shift the paradigm, because people are so willing to invest into college, invest into that type of education. And that serves a purpose too in its own way. But this is just a different form of it now. And you never looked at losers going to college. Like if you went to college, that was a good thing. You know, that was like an honorable thing. So I look at it the same way as investing into a coach and learning in that way. It's just another form of college. You're not getting like a master's degree from it, but you're getting a degree in life in a different type of way.
And granted, I think it's more powerful when you invest in yourself, not attached to an outcome. Because that's a leadership on a whole new level, where you're like, I'm here to validate myself. And I'm here to do this for myself. And I've definitely I've invested in so many mentors, and you're right. One potent person can change the trajectory of your life. And I feel that way about, honestly, everybody that has helped me collectively. They've all compounded. But yes, I'm like, high performers have coaches, silly.
Oh yeah.
This lone wolf mentality that ain't a flex, girl.
Nope.
I had to get out of that mindset. I was such a lone wolfer for so long, because that was a belief that if I needed to, oh my gosh, I'm verbal processing.
She always does this.
If I can't hold this on my own, then I'm weak.
Yeah.
I'm fine hiring people. I'm totally fine hiring people for help, but I can't else ask for help like as a friend, can you help me? Like I feel like I have to pay you. It's interesting. So I'm like, well, I'll just lone wolf it because I'm either going to hire someone to help me or I'll just figure everything else out myself. And so that's interesting. All of our little beliefs that we have in this world.
I like being so open about that it's okay to like let yourself be held and resourced, and even like on a friendship level, like it's a different type of strength or like wisdom you gain from life when you just let yourself be held, when little anxious you also has a seat at the table. And yeah, it's important for me to be open about that. And I also have a hard time selling people on a dream on entrepreneurship without talking about the help or like what it's taken for me to get there. And I feel like I bought into that dream based on the success that I saw in other places, but people didn't talk about, I had this much money here, my dad gave me this much money here, I had funds here, I had a partner here, or like I hired this mentor. So many people sometimes don't talk about that. And it's very important for me that's my form of being accessible to other people. Like, let's be transparent about the help that we're really getting.
Yes, absolutely. So I would love to shift a little bit more into your message of visibility, because now obviously you made it out of like Airbnb being your main form, right, of income, so to speak. And now you're full-time as a brand strategist, a photographer, a videographer, a storyteller. But beyond all of that, when I look at you, I don't even see you in a camera. I see you with a message of visibility. And so I would love to know why that is so important to you personally, and then why that's the message that you hammer in your marketing when you're quote unquote selling people. Because anyone can sell you with, you need new pictures for your website. This looks cheap and ugly and old. But you're like, let's amplify your voice, your brand, your messaging. What do you stand for? And let me capture that. And that was always very intriguing to me when I see your stuff. So why is visibility so important to you?
Thank you for that feedback. It means so much to me because I definitely never saw myself as a person that even in my own brand photos, like me and my camera, I'm like, ugh, it just felt so just lacking of substance. And so this is when I started learning about branding. And then once I learned branding, I'm like, oh, that's how that person got big, and that person, they're not selling clothes. Oh, they're not selling I'm trying to think of like, because we think of like clothing brands or also photography, like we're selling as reputation here. It's so much deeper than that. And when I learned about branding, that's when I learned that it's like the tool of how you do something is not what you're selling. What you're selling is like who that person becomes, the shift in identity that's happening. And so I really appreciate that feedback of how my brand presents and the impact that it has. And one of the biggest shifts that I did from, I was that person that posted just the work, and I did get some clout and I did get like connection to brands, but I didn't like how I was treated. I was treated like just a product. I didn't like who I was being in the transaction that was happening. And a shift that I did was like, I'm going to lead with my story and with my voice and why this really matters to me. And why it matters to me is that I believe that when we have more diverse voices, first of all, business innovation is just a lot better. It's just better altogether. I think that as a person who didn't see herself represented in the city that I grew up from, nor did I see my upbringing as something valuable, when really it's now like my one of the most magnetic parts about my story. I just believe that if you're a person that if you don't see your story represented, or if you find yourself seeing leaders in your industry and you're like, I don't agree with that. I can do that better. Why are they doing that? It's like, take that as the opportunity for you to lead and for you to like give your gift to the world. And I think it's such a visibility, meaning giving light to all of these shadowed parts, meaning parts about ourselves that we have judged deeply that we think are not that important, and giving visibility to that. That's what makes business sustainable. That's what makes it all those businessy things people tell you to have, like purpose and messaging and blah, 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 all those things, that is a result of you simply looking at these parts about yourself that you have judged so harshly. So,
oh God,
yeah.
I'm on fire for this right now.
Tell me more.
Oh, well, you're just speaking to like my biggest passion right now. You know, like I just launched the Soul Signature program, and it's literally about everything that you're talking about, because it's the identity piece, you know? Like it's the part, like you said, the parts of you that the shadow sides and stuff like that. And when you really, really accept who you are for real, all your layers, all of your quirks and all of your flaws and gifts and all of that, you show up different. And when you really accept it, that's when you're not afraid for other people to see it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, my teeth are crooked. So what? You know,
Yeah.
I'm Jay calling it, bitch. You know what I mean? I'm crooked smiling in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I embrace that about myself. So I'm not afraid to be seen. Like, in fact, see me. See all of me for everything that I am, because I've spent so much time to own who I am that I'm willing to be seen. I'm happy to be seen, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I feel like in the work that I do, it's like people are literally being seen in their essence, in their voice, in like the stories that they haven't shared before, and all of a sudden we're putting a camera on their story about suicide, you know, like things like that. Like I had one of my clients said, I want to normalize talking about suicide. What is it? Ideation? The
Suicidal ideation.
Yeah. That I'm like, that's how tender my work is.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't just like flashy. I think a big misconception about branding is like looking more professional. And it's like, no, this is about building connections with the people that you're here to serve, because the work that you do is so tender. And it's so important for me to protect that space with what I've created with clients in order to meet clients at that capacity. In order for me to pull that sensitivity and realness and potency and yumminess, that yes, it will make you more money or whatever the hell. But like, I need to reach that level with myself in order to work with people at that capacity, you know? And it's why it's important for me to lead by example. As even though I'm a photographer and videographer and I'm behind the camera a lot, I'm just better at my job when I lead in that way too. So yeah, that's how visibility and everything got intertwined together with the photos and the videos. And yeah,
I think that's what just in my eyes, that is one of the things that really, really sets you apart. I noticed when you made that shift, like I've been following you on Instagram long enough. I noticed when you made that shift, when it started to be more raw, and that's when I was the most drawn to you. That's when I felt like you were the most magnetic. And going back to even sharing about like, and I keep going back to Alex. You and Alex need to meet, by the way. Like we have to introduce you to Alex. Yes. You guys are like very, very similar humans. But he shared as well that like during a certain portion of his journey, his parents had to help him. And you had mentioned, you know, people don't see all of the stuff that happens. People don't see the coaches, the mentors, and the parents who give them money and all of these different things. And that's why we do what we do, because it's obvious in our industry, like you said, the perfect pictures and the perfect branding, like everybody's tired of it. People just want something that's raw and real and honest. Like that's what people want. So what do you say to the people who are experiencing blockages to really be seen in their humanness, in their raw, authentic self? How do you help people break through that?
Yeah. Oh gosh, so many layers. The first thing that's coming to mind, because it got told to me recently, and it's an aha moment I've had, is that it's not that deep. Like I do think we need a layer of lightheartedness that I know we care a lot, but like also a business, this is relevant to me in this particular moment in time, but it's just a revenue stream that happens to have your name on it. But like, have ease with it. Don't define yourself by this. It's just one particular frame of who you are. We're so multifaceted.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have like a level of groundedness and remember that it ain't that deep. Could be deep, but also it's not that deep.
Until it goes viral and it makes it to the
It's
news.
really
Not
deep.
just-
It's mega deep.
Yeah. So, but I will say, I think people have such runway until that happens.
Oh,
For
that's
the
what
most
we're
part.
doing here.
Yeah.
Long game,
We're
sister.
playing the long game.
Yeah.
And at this point, same thing. Like, we've looked at this. Like, this is space for us to be free
So
Yeah.
free.
and push our edges. You know, because outside of this space, she's been operating as a somatic breathwork practitioner and business mentor. And outside of this space, I've been operating as this mindset Tony Robbins coach. And you know, but here we get to be exactly what you're talking about.
The human behind those things. And talking about visibility, like Mel's been really, she is more comfortable with being seen in all her parts. So I love that you added that element here a few minutes ago. For me, it's been a journey into that, into like, I love being visible. I have a big personality, bold, but when it comes to like really being visible in like the way I really feel fully about something, or like my real belief about something, and all of it's real. I'm not like putting on a show, but I can be more reserved in that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about visibility more so like in a professional setup. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on like visibility in day-to-day life. Like how does that how do those two walk side by side? Because not everyone is in a space like us. So for the person who's trying to be more visible just in life or with their family or with their partner or just like anything like that, how do you couple those together?
Yeah, gosh, I think that the first thing that's coming to mind is like, this is like a somatic experience, and somatic relates to the body. And it's like, are you taking emotional risks with people? Like, for example, maybe you and a friend, and maybe there's like, maybe your friend's giving you unsolicited advice, and you're like, oh, that's not like, it's not helping me right now, the unsolicited advice. And even I have struggled with this, with like being honest with a friend and taking a risk in that. It could be as small as that. It's like you're giving visibility to that little part of you where you're no longer going to abandon in that way. And I think starting in very small incremental ways can be helpful. Or definitely another way that's, to me, visibility is coming to me is just being more vulnerable with friends, or just like sending a friend like a message of how you really appreciate them, or like picking the phone and just like calling a friend and taking a risk in that way. And I remember I did that with a friend once, because I was kind of going down the rabbit hole of complaining about how hard it is to make friends as an adult. And then it's like, it's because you're closing off. And I'm like, let's keep that childlike spirit open. And I remember I picked up the phone and called a friend, and she was like, oh, I appreciate the phone call. And I was like, oh, here I am thinking that I need to hide and thinking that I need to be cool girl. And I've just been kind of like, that's what I mean by visibility, like more emotional risks, more honesty with your relationships, like really go shoot your shot with the kind of friendships in life that you want to have.
And not defaulting to the old patterns. I had an experience like that a couple of days ago. I told Mel, I was like, I got triggered twice today over around the same thing. And the old Casey, who wouldn't take an emotional, vulnerable risk, would just be like, okay, like I'll just stuff it and process it and like whatever, keep the peace. But I couldn't do that in my body anymore. It was like screaming at me, you need to use your voice. You need to say something. It's okay to say something in this moment. Like I somatically could not take it anymore. And so I did have conversations with the people involved, and I felt so free afterwards, and it was received so well as well. And that alone, I feel like, is a really beautiful example of what you're sharing, like in the day-to-day moments in life. Like how much more can, instead of hiding behind what's safe, come forward just a little bit more. That makes you more visible and finding safety in those moments.
Yeah, and it's okay. I heard this I've been listening to a lot of Aaron Doughty. I don't
Love
know
him.
if Love him. I like the way he translates esoteric concepps, but he talks about, he's like, we're just being afraid of tension. And that's all it is. So like, all you gotta do is just learn how to allow tension to exist in your body. It's not gonna break you. And I was
Dude, that
like,
was like us at Culinary Dropout the other day.
Oh, fuck.
Listen.
I was feeling tense. But you saw my pattern. No, let's just sit here and take it.
No, we're leaving.
wait,
We're
what
not staying
happened?
Nothing happened.
That's literally nothing. But we went to Culinary Dropout to have a meeting for my retreat that's coming up. And when we got there, it was not the vibe. I drank the water. It tastes like copper
mold.
pipe water.
Tastes like ass.
I was like, I don't want to eat here. I don't want to drink here. No offense to Culinary Dropout. I love your chicken wings. But it just wasn't the vibe
It
for
felt
the meeting.
eerie. It felt
It
eerie.
wasn't the vibe. Yeah. So I was like, let's go. And she's like, what? Like, leave? And I'm like, yeah.
leave?
Let's go. She's like, but don't you think that's like kind of rude if we like leave? I'm like, no, we don't owe these people shit, Casey.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of
But
here.
then she was like, we're just leaving and not saying anything. We were at the table. I
Well,
was
'cause
like,
we
we
didn't see our
have,
server anywhere.
but we were sat and greeted. And so I'm like, you have to tell them you're leaving. Don't just ghost on someone.
I was like, all right, well, we'll go tell them that we're leaving. But she's like, okay. And so we left, and I was like, hey, our plans changed. We're not going to be dining here. And they're like, okay. And Casey's like,
It ain't that deep.
it's fine.
it ain't that deep.
Yeah, so to that point, another thing that can support with that visibility is connecting yourself with people and friends who exemplify that. Because I actually had another experience like that at the Lil Wayne concert.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's like, girl, I walk through the world like I own the place, okay?
I
Because
love
I
it. I
do.
love
The
that.
world is my oyster. So
Yeah.
we're at the Lil Wayne concert, and there's this girl that's in front of us, and she's like, she ends up becoming our friend. We find out she's there by herself. So I was like, all right, well, you can hang out with us. If at any point you need to go to the restroom and you want someone to go with you, let me know and I'll go with you. So she tapped on that offer later in the night, and she was like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Are you still down to come? So I was like, yeah, middle of the concert. We go to the bathroom. The girls' bathroom, line is so long. It's wrapped around the building.
Whoa.
The men's bathroom had no line at all. I looked at her and I said, you down to do some shit? She's like, I think so. I was like, come with me. So I locked arms with her. I was like, trust me, just follow my lead. Don't worry about it. Just do your thing. So walk in there like I own the place. All the men are like, what the fuck? I'm like, excuse me, gentlemen, sorry, we have a emergency here. This is just what needs to happen right now. Hey, do your thing. Don't mind us. We're just gonna handle our business real quick and we'll be out of the way. And they're like, okay. And so I was like, just go in the bathroom. So she goes in there, and I'm like holding the door for her, and I'm standing out there, and all the men are walking in, and they're like, what? And I'm like, sorry, don't mind me, just emergency, just keep doing your thing, we'll be out of your hair in a minute. And then she's like, gets out. I'm like, all right, go wash your hands. Let's get out of here. And she's like, we walk out of the bathroom, and she was like, oh my God. I was like, see, girl, that was fine, right? Like,
Yeah.
Fun.
I was like, it was fine. And the guys weren't tripping. I was being a lady about it. I was being respectful. I wasn't being weird, but I had to go in there and just fucking act like I own the place and be graceful about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, fuck yeah, I'm glad I came with you, girl.
Yeah.
So sometimes it does require you to seek out the people that show up in that way, and then make those connections, because we rub off on people. We're
Totally.
influenced by people. And now I bet you if she goes to a festival or something and there's another situation like that, she might be like, all right, homegirl, let's go. She might be
I
leading
got
that
you.
experience next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, funny thing though is while I was holding the door, this guy walks in. He's like, hey, I know you. And I was like, no, you don't. I was like, no, you don't. He goes, yeah, I do. And he like goes to the stall and he's like peeing. And I was like, well, then what's my name? He's like, oh. And I was like, yeah, see, you don't know me.
Oh my God.
But then he wrote me on Facebook the next day. He's
I
like,
do know
he's
you.
like, hey, I know this is super random, but I think I saw you in the men's bathroom.
So he did know
He
you.
did know me. He's like, I couldn't remember your name, but I know I knew you from somewhere. So talk about fucking visibility. Someone saw me in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
So
You know what
real
I
life
lo-
examples of visibility.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you held your frequency.
Yeah.
Really the key to all of this for it to be sustainable is like know who you are and just like yes, surround yourself with people that also hold their frequency.
Yes.
People that you can disagree with, people that you can
Yes.
talk with, people that just know how to hold their own. And it takes some practice of self-trust at a deeper capacity, but it's worthwhile. You'll make better decisions in your life. But I love that example of how you're just so rooted in who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. So how can people work with you? Like, what are you offering? How can they get your brand experience?
Yeah, I love that question. So I work with entrepreneurs and brands, usually wellness brands or just brands that are mission led. And so you can work with me. You can just connect with me on Instagram at Camila, CAMILLA_CCT.
What does
And
CCT stand for?
They're my initials.
Oh, okay.
So the T's from my mom's last name, which is Stoad. Because when you're Latin, you get your mom's last name too. And I needed something to put on Instagram so it could leave me alone. And I'm like, what other letters can I put in?
Okay,
So,
interesting.
yeah. But I have an offer. It's called Industry Outlier. And it's
I like that.
Yeah, I got feedback of people saying, oh, I like that it's like not about powerhouse or all this thing. It's just simply about being so oozing in individuality of what makes you you.
Yes.
And that's how you make it despite the odds. And so it's a full day brand shoot experience for conscious entrepreneurs and brands where you get volume of photos and videos. And that's to keep your reputation as the go-to for whatever thing or as a trusted person in your industry. It's definitely not about being professional. It's simply about carving out a reputation of your deepest authenticity so that you're a trusted person in your industry. And so that's what I do. I also have other offerings that are smaller scale, but that is where you get the most of me. And you also get like my business strategy brain with you to figure out what needs to be repaired in your brand or enhanced in order to truly help you get to that result. And I also have a podcast called Speak Your Truth and Look Good Doing It.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and it's all about visibility and the stories that we share and also in the flesh, of course. And those are ways to connect with me.
Quick question. Do you, because you said entrepreneurs, do you also serve like artists? I feel like the type of work that you do would be so great for artists, creatives, like, do you serve those types of people as well, or do you usually attract entrepreneurs? I mean, artists are entrepreneurs, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
definitely all artists. So artists, leaders, really it's for anybody that is ready to carve out a reputation for themselves.
Beautiful.
That's like a more high level enhanced version of their deepest authenticity. So
beautiful.
yeah.
So you guys, if you're listening to this and you know that you're in a space within yourself where you've reached an identity where you are ready to be seen and you want to take the next level in achieving that and being visible, highly recommend connecting with Camila. Thank you so much for coming. We are so grateful to have you in our beautiful space here. Speaking of this space, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors here at I Do Experiences for being the home of humanhood. I Do Experiences is a beautiful, intimate venue here in South Scottsdale where you can bring all of your intimate event dreams to life. Small weddings, baby showers, ceremonies, breathwork sessions, healed girl house parties,
Photo shoots,
podcasts, all the different things. So again, shout out to our sponsors, I Do Experiences. Again, thank you so much, Camila. We love you. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time.
Bye.
Woo!